watching Gully TV. This fella here doesn't need much of an introduction. This is long overweighted. He's had a heavy presence on the internet at least the last 4 years. What's going on, my nigga?
What's up, Gully? Taking it easy, you already know who it is. If you don't, it's Trendsetta Shady. Underrated music group, you already know.
Don't get on here trying to act all smooth and shit, man. Do that shit that you be doing on the internet. You know what I'm saying? What's going on?
I'm chilling, man. Taking it easy, putting it together, you know, enjoying the weather, linking up.
Give me some insight on your background as far as, you know, where you from when you start doing music and, you know.
Shit, I'm from North Philly, 15th New York. I was raised in that neighborhood, really grew up on Cumberland Street, in and out of juvenile facilities when I was young. I started rapping when I was like 14 years old. Started rapping with a group. It was me and 3 other individuals, my man P. Dot, Bozak, and PR. We all started rapping together. We used to be up in my man P. Dot room, shit, with the tape decks. You know how they go. One radio for the instrumental, the other radio to dub the tape. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
Shit like that. So we was rocking like that. I went to jail, and then I refined my craft. I was always able to refine my craft, you know, away from whatever trend was going on in the street, because I was in jail. So I was, you know, still sharpening steel in that joint, and we just had to keep our own unique flows going. So I always had to make sure that I had a different flow. That's why none of my raps flow the same. I came home. I felt like I was a little out of place with the rapping. I was a little rusty, so I gave it a little run, but then I let it go. That was what Lair Life. I was with my man Pop, Lair Life, Underdog in them studios and whatnot. Express Yourself music group. That was with them. Had a little run with them, but the music never came out because the owner took a political turn. He got into politics, real rap. So it was like all the music that we was making, it just got caught up in the time capsule, like to never be released or whatever.
Wow.
So that soured my mood. So I gave it up for a minute. I gave the music up.
Right.
I ended up going back to jail. When I went back to jail, I still wasn't doing music and whatnot. I was chilling. I was just getting myself together, centering myself, studying different things, religious, business, just different ways to confront life and whatnot. I was doing research on those types of things, so I didn't run into the problem of ever having to be locked up again, right?
Right.
I come home, I'm working, I come home, I move out of town. I don't live in Philly, I'm working, you know, I'm doing what I'm doing. Staying abreast. I get to it. I take a clothing store and put up a clothing store in York, PA. At that clothing store, I had a real nice grand opening. A lot of people came out from Philly. One of those people, 2 of those people was, that came out was Malik and Robby, my homies. Well, I met Robby through Malik that day, so Malik brought Robby through and whatnot. That was the reintroduction of me and Moss for real. That's how we linked back up. And then
So the day that you linked back up with Lee Moss was the day that you met Robby Johnson?
Yeah, first time I ever seen him in my life.
Okay. What type of guy was he?
Humble, laid back.
Yeah.
He was a vegan. He had that vegan energy.
The glow.
Yeah, he had that whole energy.
Okay.
He was a good guy in my opinion. You find somebody to talk bad about Robby, I'd be like hard pressed to, you know what I mean? Really, I would love to hear what they had to say. He was a good dude.
So this began your affiliation with OBH?
Not at that moment. It was for real. It was later. Me and Leak had, after that conversation, we had multiple conversations, and it was always him telling me how I need to come back and do this music shit. So I said, all right, bro, I'll come back. I'll do it with you. So me and him did a song together. It was like a Go Ahead freestyle or some shit like that. Me and Mars, we did that Go Ahead freestyle. Shit, it did numbers. And from there, people was like, yo, come back, Shady, come back. And that's why I always would tell him, yo, thank you for encouraging me to come back. I appreciate that, and he shared his platform, so that was definitely one of those things.
So when you say he shared his platform, he had already started to develop a following on the internet.
Yeah, people knew me in the city. They definitely knew who I was in the city. But as far as social media went, I wasn't really like too social media savvy at that time. At that time, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't like too social media savvy. But it was things that went on from there that also contributed to people knowing who I was. Like at that same time as that song coming out, I get into the altercation with Dean that was with Dream Chasers. Boom, that shit went viral. You feel what I'm
That
saying?
shit was funny as hell. Where was that at? A Gucci store or some shit?
Nah, that was with him and them. They was in the Mitchell and Ness store, and he beat all three of them up. But that's that. But
what was your incident at with him?
Nice thing.
And that's when you had the video with the feline.
No, I was back at my store at that point. It was somebody else recording. It wasn't even me. I didn't, like I said, at that time, I didn't really know the power of social media.
Oh, you didn't know? Oh, okay, I get it.
No, so the person that was recording did know the power of social media. I think if I knew the ramifications that was gonna come with that, bro, I think if I actually really knew how deep that something like that was gonna go, I wouldn't have went that route. I ain't even think that through.
Right.
Or you know what I'm saying? Like I cut people off for lesser shit, for way more, you know, deep shit than that. What I could, you know, determine that our friendship wasn't worth it no more. But
got it.
that was something with Dean in particular. Yeah, that was definitely something I regretted.
So that issue with Dean, was that music or OBH related?
No,
you had a
it
prior
ain't nothing.
issue.
And like I said again, I'm gonna say at that time I wasn't really too hip on how the internet worked. So the guys that I was around was though the OBH guys. They know exactly how to. And if you notice, around that time, all that stuff was going on. Ad pulled me like straight up to the forefront of OBH. It's like, come on, bro. I just came out of nowhere.
It seemed like you was like a new soldier and shit.
Yeah, I just came out of nowhere, and you just put me at the top. You gotta understand, because I came from the street. I came from the street with rank. With my own rank. So there's no way in the world you could take me and put me down there with the low guys. So he had to bring me up there, top 3, top 4, however you want to cut it.
Right.
None of them other guys, even with me, without me being around, none of them other guys held that type of, you know, position. So that created a lot of hate and hostility right there too. I just came out of nowhere, and they've been there for all that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere. But off that, yeah, though. From there, I dropped a bunch of shit, man. I dropped Heart of a Lion 1. I dropped Soul of a Legend 1, Soul of a Legend 2. I did like 15 music videos and whatnot. I racked up a little over 4 or 5 million views in a year. That was crazy. I ducked a lot.
Okay.
People would love to think that I had this this third eye open, or I was able to see into the future or something like that. You don't have to have that type of vision when shit is obvious. It's obvious. So when things become obvious, you gotta keep it pushing. If you don't, then that's on you.
Right.
Yeah. So I just fell out of love with that in social media. Like I couldn't digest it at all for like 2 years, because it was like people just content with living with lies on them drinks. So it's like, you know what I mean? But now I'm back, and I'm using it more so as a vehicle just to serve the people with my music. That's it.
Right.
And merchandise. Like I don't really care if I don't get these many likes, those many likes. As long as the likes I get is true.
Right.
And that's facts.
We not gonna skip all the wreck and all the drama, Shady. I'm telling you now. I'm telling you now. Don't do that. We not gonna
you
do
go
that.
ahead, you interview, bro.
You just tried to. I can't believe you just tried to do that.
Yeah.
We gotta go back.
All right, go ahead,
Right,
man.
boom. All right. So you were part of the musical collective known as. You were part of the musical collective known as OBH.
Yeah.
All right. Y'all had a disagreement.
Yeah, it was like 3 different issues, and all of them factored into the next one in some type of way. Yeah.
Okay. Prior to the disagreement, and you said you had a relationship with Leek Moss growing up. That was your man.
Mm-hmm.
So you already knew who AR. You already knew AR.
No, because the neighborhood that I was from, Leek Moss, his brother was one of the guys I first started rapping with. His other brother, PR, but Leek would come to my neighborhood. So the neighborhood that Avenue from, I never was in that neighborhood. So Leek had a brother over, which is Ad brother too. They had a brother over in my section, and that's how I met Leek, because Leek was coming down there for his brother. So that's how we grew up together like that. And he started predominantly being down there with us. And then we all went to the same school anyway, high school anyway. So we all was gang.
All right. So when did you encounter Ab? You never was Leek's life? Was he like raised separate from them?
Partially, yeah.
Went to different schools and shit like that?
Yeah.
All right, so...
Because Leek wasn't raised with Cassidy.
Okay.
You feel what I'm saying? Leek ain't grow up with Cassidy.
But Ab grew up with Cassidy.
Ab grew up with Cassidy.
They actually grew up together.
Yeah, see, nigga,
so different. Why was the perception that Cassidy wasn't of the streets or wasn't from what we from or whatever?
I don't know what I don't... Cassidy carried... The way Cassidy carry himself is... Like, Cassidy really a loner. For real. So, like, for somebody to say they got Cass whole rundown, it's usually somebody that he let around. If they telling the truth, you got to think about this. It's usually somebody he let around them that's betraying him. Because you don't really hear him talking bad about nobody.
Nah.
Yeah, right. Cass don't be talking bad about nobody. He on the low, he a Philly legend. He got hits.
He does. He did his thing.
He went platinum on the ringtone.
Yeah. Facts. I'm a hustler.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he was a freestyle. He did that. He came through the ranks. If we talking hip hop, he came through the ranks. He did the Freestyle Friday thing. He was the punchline champ. Nobody could get around that for years. Even to this day, it's questionable depending on how he get off. But right. He don't get his flowers for us being a hip hop legend.
Yeah.
Because he ain't with the fuckery. Like he's not with all
conflict. Yeah. I get it. Philly's a rough place. You gotta have thick skin.
To answer your question, I know we digress severely, but to answer your question, I grew up with Leek because Leek came to my neighborhood.
Okay, boom. So when were you introduced to his brother, the face of the OBH collective?
Probably like 20 years later.
Okay, so you met Ab in like 2014 or some shit like that?
Yeah, like 2000, no. About like 2015, 16, some shit like that, yeah.
Okay. What was your reception like? Like, what was your opinion of him?
For me, I always took him as like a shit-talking, gambling ass nigga.
Okay.
Shit-talking, hustling, gambling ass nigga. I ain't really like from being around him, I just took him as like a shit-talking, gambling, hustling nigga.
So why do people feel that you should be in trouble with them?
In what capacity?
Why do they feel that you should have went to jail with them, or maybe?
I don't know, because none of this shit that they got in trouble for, none of that shit was present when I was around. I wouldn't even be able to tell them.
All right, so where was the grounds? How could somebody say that how could somebody fabricate paperwork if you said you weren't around?
Fabricate what paperwork?
The paperwork that Leek and King Erner allegedly had.
They didn't fabricate paperwork. They misrepresented what was said in the paperwork. What was said in the first paperwork was somebody was clearly identifying me, and then what was seen in the paperwork after that was my last name, but it was after whoever said what they said was blocked out. You get what I'm saying?
Okay, so they altered the document basically.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't alter the document. The document was redacted. They misrepresented the documents. You feel me?
Got it.
In essence, they let me see things I ain't even see before.
Okay. So what made you feel that you didn't no longer want to be a part of that situation?
What you mean?
OBH. When did you feel that
it wasn't never.
I mean, you was there.
I'm saying it was. So more so, they was bringing people in that didn't really have a good representation with a good reputation with how they dealt with their friends.
Okay.
So I'm like, if they bringing these type of individuals in, it's only a matter of time before the mindset trickle in that anything that happened to any one of us from any one of us.
Right.
And that was pretty much that. That was one of the issues. Another one of the issues was whatever was going on between me and Ab that I didn't know was brewing. You feel me? And I think another one was the fact that I stepped off and did the risk takers thing.
What made you say that you feel that it may have been something brewing between y'all that you weren't aware of?
Yeah, because when I look back on it, I may have did things that stepped all in this territory. Like I took a strong piece from them when I took Leak and moved him over Cali, when I had him with me over Cali. Then I took another step towards like looking like I was weakening the brand by stepping in and putting my full force behind risk takers. You get what I'm saying? That.
Oh, you weren't supposed to represent any other entity while you were there.
I don't think that was taken well, because if you notice, they never posted no music from me when I did Risk Takers. Running, nobody posts, and everything after that. And that's when predominantly the shit started pumping, when Running dropped.
Okay.
Nobody from OBH posted that. Anything from that or anything after that.
So in the middle of your relationship with them, you discovered that there was a conflict because you were trying to implement your brand or your
I wouldn't say that was the sole thing, but that was one of the things. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. That was one of the things. That's why I said it was multiple things. Now on their end, they might have their own. Answers as to why things happen. But from what I could see, it was me looking like I was being able to persuade Malik to come this way when they needed him over there, which is weakening them. Then I stepped out on my own, looking like I was shining off them. And then I didn't have to use nobody to make no moves, bro.
Right. So your independence might have made someone insecure, or never outshine the master, one of the 48 laws of power, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. What day can you recall you was just fed up and you just blew up? I can't remember the exact day, but I remember the time period.
It was more so like, I think Ab had put something on Instagram talking about he ran me the fuck out of Philly. I ran that pussy out of Philly, something like that. And I woke up to that in my DM from a million people. And so I hit him up, I'm like, bro, why everybody keep sending me this? What you say attached to this? You say something about me? No, I wasn't even talking about you. And then I get off the phone with him, I'm like, all right, cool, my bad, bro. I apologize to him and everything. Get off the phone with him. He go right to the internet and just say, and start talking about the call we just had. I'm like, this nigga tripping. So from there, I start firing back because he was misrepresenting how I was coming. He was carrying it like I just called him copping please. Biggest killers in the city, sorry. This, that, and the third. I'm like, damn, bro, I really just told this boy I love him. So I blanked out.
He said that. I got the biggest killers in the city saying I'm sorry.
Yeah, some shit
I think
like
I remember that.
Yeah, some shit like that. So that shit had my blood boiling because I'm like, he misrepresented what the conversation was and what tone it was.
Right.
So that was that, and we started trading shots after that. It ain't never.
Was
really
he cut
stopped.
to be talking like that? Like, I mean, like, the army aside, he did have an organization with them, but is he cut to be talking like that? Like,
I ain't never seen no aggression from him.
Okay.
Like you saying, is he cut to be talking like that in the room by himself? I ain't never see that from him.
Right.
And I don't think that's the tone he would carry it in.
Right.
You know, with certain individuals. With certain individuals, he might carry it like that.
Right.
But with me, I'm the type of individual that, okay, I can carry it.